Hi, welcome.
Welcome to another episode of Podcast with Sophie. Oh,
And
wait, you're
Cass.
supposed to say, doesn't matter. Because I'm like, you're supposed to say podcast. And whatever, you guys get the point.
This is podcast.
So today we're going to talk about something that it's talked about enough. We can't say that it's not talked about enough. It is definitely talked about. Related to social media specifically, we're going to talk about body dysmorphia. So what is body dysmorphia, Cass?
So body dysmorphia, I mean, that's like the common name, but like the actual scientific name, I don't even know if that's what I would call
clinical term.
The clinical term, there we go. So the clinical term is body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. So it is a psychological illness that centers on a person's obsession with physical flaws, either minor or imagined. So this is to say that, you look in the mirror and you may not be happy with your image. You may think you're too fat, or like your flaws are kind of just like, you notice them so much more, which I think is kind of normal. But once you have this disorder is when you're taking it to the extreme. And the part that like is really extreme is when you begin to imagine these flaws that you have or weight that you have that you may not. So that is what that is.
There was a doctor that she was saying that it was like, it's similar to you looking in one of those fun mirrors, like when you go to the fair.
Yeah. I know
that's what it almost feels like. Like you see yourself completely different than everybody else sees you. And there was a girl saying that she suffers from it. She'll be like, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, I look fine. And then like a couple hours later, I feel like I gained 15 pounds. She's like, and even though I know that it's impossible to gain 15 pounds in 3 hours, I see my body in the mirror like if I did.
That's so crazy.
So yeah, and it's directly related with OCD. It shares a lot of traits with obsessive compulsive disorder. They were saying that, which by the way, we're going to put all the links of like the articles and stuff where we got the information from, the resources, but they were saying that a lot of people that suffer from this, they go at least an hour a day thinking about their body. And directly relating it to social media, how terrible, because we have so much access to comparison with other people, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's where social media comes in, where you find yourself scrolling and just comparing yourself to others.
Yeah. So I actually read an article that talked about that, like how, that passive scrolling, you, like you said, you don't engage, you're just looking at other people's things. So it's just appearances that you're basing, your opinions on. And it said that actually engaging with the content, or engaging with the people that like you follow or whatever is healthier. It's a healthier way to use social media, because that's true. Like I can scroll, I can look up, I don't know, whatever model and look at her pages and her posts and be like, wow, like she looks so pretty here, so perfect here. And yeah, you get into this cycle. But something that made me think about that, like the body dysmorphia, which I know it's like a serious disorder. So I don't want to be like, yeah, I have that or had it. But did you ever feel like you were reading these things and were like, did I have that for some time? Or is there like a minor case of that I can have?
I feel like you said, when I was reading about it, I remember when I want to say probably 18, like right after high school. And I feel that's when like Instagram started like really, people were using Instagram differently, because when I first started using Instagram, it was similar to Facebook. It was just like my friends, whatever. But I feel like after high school, for me, it was more like, no, like people are getting so many likes and this and that. And I remember I would go out, like not even only on social media, literally go out and constantly compare my body to others. Like, she's skinnier, because my thing was always being skinny. She's skinnier than me, or whatever, and you become obsessed of like,
Mm-hmm.
because also the dangers of social media is a lot of pictures are altered, or
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people that have gotten work done and they don't admit to it. So
Mm-hmm.
you're here not having done anything to your body, you know, how your mother brought you to the world, comparing to Photoshop, comparing to BBLs, comparing to nose jobs, boobs jobs, Botox, lip fillers,
Filler,
with
yeah, it's
filters
so
on
crazy.
top of all of
Yeah,
that, you know?
exactly. Yeah. And it's crazy because I'm sitting here and I'm comparing and whatever, but it's like, yo, this isn't even natural. Like these body types, like the very slim waist, hips, thick, thick ass, but it's like your thighs don't even have a muscle. Like, you know what I mean? That's so unrealistic. And I'm sitting here and feeling like less of myself, right? And it sucks that it's sometimes, I mean, we are aware of it, but then we also don't know the levels to where it still affects us.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also, I feel like so sad for like these young girls that are like 12, 13 using these things, and just really sad, like because of like body dysmorphic disorder, it leads to a lot of eating disorders, so anywhere from anorexia, bulimia, um binge eating. So the National Eating Disorder Association found that at least 42% of first through third grade girls want to be thinner. First to third grade. Can we just talk about like these little girls are six?
That's insane,
Six.
yo.
That like
That
literally, oh my God, I want to kind of cry right now because that just, oh my God, like that's so sad. Like, do you imagine to be so young and already be so aware of like what your
aware.
body looks like, and okay. So another thing, 81% of 10-year-olds are afraid of being fat.
You know, I want to
81%.
say something in regards to that though.
Yeah.
Children, um, they take in everything, right?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of parents, a lot of mothers
Mm-hmm.
being a certain way in front of their daughters,
Mm-hmm.
obsessing over certain things in front of their daughters, obsessively dieting, obsessively getting work done in front of their daughters. Your daughter, even at 6, 7, right? She's seeing what is supposed to be the example
Yeah.
for a woman, which is her mom,
Yeah.
do these things. So of course that little girl is gonna think, I need to be like my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom prioritizes these things, obsesses over these things. And as a matter of fact, I know of someone that her mother had an eating disorder. And when we were younger, this girl, every time that she'd go eat, even if it was broccoli, her mom would be like, oh, why are you eating that or whatever? And she was in like elementary school. This girl now, she has an eating disorder.
Oh
She
man.
developed an eating disorder because she got it from her mom. So
Wow. That's
it
so
doesn't necessarily mean
sad.
it's genetic, but it can be what's the
Yeah.
word? I can't say that word.
Hereditary.
Hereditary. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Damn, bro.
it's and currently, now that you're talking about statistics, one
Yeah.
in 50 Americans, which that is a very, very, very large percentage. One
Mm.
in 50 Americans suffers from what's it called? Body dysmorphic disorder as
No
of
way.
2021. Yep, according to the American Psychiatric Association. So then from the same source, I found something called Snapchat dysmorphia. It's not like an official term, but they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
working towards actually it becoming an official term, because Snapchat, not Instagram, it was Snapchat that originated the face filters, the altering face
Mm-hmm.
filters.
Yeah, I
So now
remember.
what's happening is there's a lot of people that are going to plastic surgeons and they're asking for the exact same traits that they have altered when they have the filter on. And if you think
That's
about
so
it, if
crazy.
you think about like the Instagram face, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Kylie Jenner and like
Right.
the big
Yeah.
lips, the small nose,
Oh no.
And
Gucci
it's like
phones.
everyone's starting to look the same now because everyone's going
Yeah.
towards the same face.
Look. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody looks the same. It's like, it's so weird to see that. Like,
It's scary.
to see the transition. It is a little scary too. And then honestly, like with these like with these all these surgeries, dude, that shit freaks me out. Like I don't know, maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I'm a fucking scaredy cat. And I don't think I could go under for a fucking surgery. Like I'm just too scared. And I'm scared of being in pain, and I'm scared of the recovery process. I
To
just
be
can't.
honest, for me, like to be completely honest with you,
Yeah.
it just, mind you, I love taking care of myself. I love looking good, but it's just not a
Yeah.
priority.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sit here and dwell. I used to. I grew out of it, you could say. I don't sit
Yeah.
here and dwell on. I have friends that are like that. And I know as a fact that unfortunately social media has a lot to do with it, because they're always like, oh, look at this Instagram model. Look at this girl. Look at this. Look at
Mm,
that. Like, I want her body
yeah.
and this and that. And
It's
it's
the
just like, yo,
comparison.
like you look
You know,
good. Like, whatever,
yeah.
you know?
And one thing I have to say, it's like, okay, I feel like it comes back to questioning, like, why do you want to look like that? And if it's to be confident, like, really though, like for who? Like for who though?
That's
You know?
what they were saying with this disorder too, was one of the biggest things is people seek external validation.
Mm,
So in reality, what you need to work on is internally, because the thing with plastic surgery that happens a lot too is people become addicted to it. So like you'll get a procedure done
mm,
and they're like,
yeah.
yeah, but now I want to fix this, and then you get another procedure done. And can we talk
Mhm.
about the dangers, like how we've normalized getting
Yeah.
BBLs, and it's like an extremely dangerous procedure.
Um, it's so crazy because it's so fucking dangerous. So there's so many blood vessels in your ass that if it's injected in like the wrong place, if you're going to like a fucking shoddy doctor, like you can fucking die. Like that shit will go right through your
Instantly.
bloodstream to your brain. You are
Instantly.
kaput.
And there's
And most of these,
unfortunately
yeah.
there's a lot of cases.
And most of
There's a
these
lot of
doctors
cases.
aren't even held accountable for this because you see, you like you want it so bad, you just sign your fucking life
And
away.
you sign the paper because they let you know. That's why they don't get in trouble for it, because they let you know
Yeah.
beforehand.
My cousin, she was working a case one day and she goes to, it was like a at-home clinic and they were taking this girl's body out. And it was like a thing. The doctor didn't even look, like no responsibility. Like it was so crazy. I could not believe that. Like it's real. Like it's fucking real. Like
But then that's
these
my thing
ugh.
too. Like what, like you're prioritizing having a big ass that bad that you're risking your life.
For life. Yeah.
And then, oh, I want to say something because I also feel, I want to get into men after, but I also feel like for us girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've all been through this, ladies. I know as a fact, we've all been through this. When you're dating someone
Mm-hmm.
and you go a little stalker mode and you catch him liking certain pictures of certain girls
Mm-hmm.
that look a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
you compare because
Yeah.
you're like,
Like if it
I don't
doesn't
look
look
like
like
that.
you. Yeah. You
I
feel
don't
like,
look
oh
like, is
my
that what he
God.
likes? Like, is that what he likes? He likes thicker girls.
Yeah.
He likes skinnier girls. He likes morenas. He likes
Mm-hmm.
Asian girls. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's another way that social media influences us negatively, because we also obsess over our partners, how they're interacting, how they're engaging. When in
Mm-hmm.
reality, if you actually think about it, it's just a tap on your phone.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
a tap on your phone that can
And then
ruin your relationship, men.
you're
So
really
please, so
be
please
careful what you tap on. No, I'm kidding.
be careful.
No, but I think that like with that, I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot with the whole social media and the liking and the not like, because I they're still looking. You know what I mean? But I get it because sometimes my argument was like, but why you gotta like she's not gonna know
Like
you.
exactly. Like, do you know my thing is like, do you know how pathetic you look? Like you're such a fucking loser. Like you're such a loser. You know, because it's like, do you know how many guys? I always think of it this way. We all have guys that DM you and you never reply or that react to your stories, and you're just here looking at your man like, is that you?
Are you this guy?
Like, are you that guy on another girl's profile? Like, please don't do that.
Because, do not embarrass me. It's not
Yo,
even about
oh
you
my
anymore. You're
God. Little
embarrassing
story time, yo. Little story time.
Ooh, story time, espérate.
There was this guy in my life, bro. Ay, qué pena, Dios mío. Like, now that I look back, I'm like, that's so embarrassing. I caught him not liking, commenting, like the thirstiest comments that he wouldn't even tell me. But I'm like, oh yeah, so like at least if you're gonna say that to some girl on Instagram, you might as well tell me that you're with me. The thirstiest comments, like perfection, hard eyes, fire emoji. I love that dress, hard eyes, heart. And I'm there and I'm like, it wasn't one girl, it wasn't two
You
girls, it wasn't
comment,
three
you
girls.
get the boot. You comment, you
And
get the boot.
and then the thing is too, when you see that they don't get no reply and he keeps commenting on other pictures, you're just like, oh my God, you're that guy from my DMs. Like you're that guy. Like, you're that guy. And it's
You
so
are
embarrassing.
Like, moment of silence for that guy.
That's so embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
shit. Oh,
it's just
man.
there's a lot. And you know, when I was younger, because I want to think that with age for us women it changes.
Yeah.
I want to say that, even though I know that in some cases, unfortunately, even older women still go through these things. But for me, when I was younger, because there's so much, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't know if this is gonna come out sexist or not, but it is what it is. There's so much hoeing around on the gram. There's so much lingerie, ass showing, titty showing,
Yeah.
provocativity,
All
that
the time.
you have the
Everywhere.
temptation
To do the same.
to do the same. Like I've had guy friends tell me like, yo, you should open up an OnlyFans. Like you'd make mad money with an OnlyFans. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make mad money off of OnlyFans. Like that's not what I'm interested in. But you, in the back of your head, you're like, if she's doing it and this fucking guy's liking her pictures, I could do the same shit. Right? So when I was younger, I remember like I deleted a lot of pictures off of my Instagram because I, for some time, was falling into the attention seeking, the validation seeking of social media. Of like,
a lot of shit is in my archives.
Me too. And I'm like, yo,
Archive.
this is so embarrassing.
I can't believe that shit was up. My poor mother.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So with that being said, I also wanted, because researching and stuff, I honestly had never thought of this, but what about men?
Yeah.
How do men suffer from this? Is it as common?
As common? I don't know. However, I did find something, and it talked about like muscle dysmorphia, which is just like bodybuilders who pretty much think their muscles are just too small, so they're obsessive over, growing it. And then in this, they would just go to the extremes of taking steroids and, kind of taking it to that unhealthy route. And, I mean, too much of as we've learned, I feel like in this podcast, too much of anything is harmful.
I would say though, like, I'm pretty sure it's not even just bodybuilders, like guys that are into, because some dudes don't care, or guys I feel like do better at hiding their insecurities sometimes than us. Or they project their insecurities very differently than we do.
So we're not men, so we are not able to really know exactly what they're thinking or how they're feeling. But it's even harder because men don't talk about how they feel or insecurities But we as women, I think the one advantage that we do have is that we have so many spaces and so many like circles in which we can kind of like go to express our feelings. And I feel like that is why we can develop emotionally
Mm-hmm.
quicker, because we are able to like process it. Where with them, I feel like it's more of a like they have to suppress.
Yeah.
So they don't,
Yeah.
so it comes out in ways that we can't even understand.
Sometimes aggressive, sometimes territorial, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
jealousy is also a
Mm-hmm.
form of insecurity. I also want to say there's a difference between having insecurities and being insecure,
Mm.
because I feel like everyone, like, it's a natural thing to have insecurities.
Yeah.
um and usually we exaggerate them in our head, like it's sometimes things that others don't even notice.
Yeah.
And being insecure is a completely different thing. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's important to point out too. I think that for me, what I've also learned, like with guys and stuff, when a guy is vulnerable enough to be open about, like, you know what, like I do feel like this about my legs or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like a lot of the times when a guy has said that, I'll like step back and I'm like, really? Like you actually have an insecurity? Like you
Mm-hmm.
actually don't like something about yourself?
Yeah.
Like I would have
Yeah.
never known, you
Yeah.
know? Versus
It's
they can
okay.
see clearly what you don't like about yourself because either you've
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it or, whatever the
Don't
case
touch my
is.
stomach. I don't want whatever. One thing I do believe though is that we shouldn't feed into our insecurities. So like not acting on them, because it's a thought. You know what I mean? It's still a thought essentially, and a thought has no weight to it
Mm-hmm.
unless you act on that, or
Mm-hmm.
you give it that attention that it seeks, right? It's like if you're feeding it. So I think that one thing that I've learned and I've really worked on is not acting on these feelings, because and I found that over time you just forget. You move on from the feeling, or you move on from the insecurity. Like and I say this because I used to obsess. Like that's why I say about like the body dysmorphia. I used to look at myself in the mirror all the time, making sure I didn't look fat or making sure this. And then I look at pictures now of that time and I'm like, I was like a stick, like what the hell? I was so unhappy with myself. I never thought I was enough. So I have to realize that like whatever image I have in my head, I can't fulfill. Like I
You're
it's
always
not
gonna
like
want
different.
more. You're
Yeah.
always gonna be more, want to be more toned. You're always gonna want to have a smaller waist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like for me, throughout the years, I really shift a lot with weight. Like I'll go from like being real slim to like being a little bit thicker to like being real slim again. And I still struggle to even know what I want to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes, like, I'll work out this and that, and I'm like, do I want to get thicker, or like, do I want to lose weight? Like, what do I want? And then I
Mm-hmm.
question, and I'm like, am I really asking myself, or am I trying to fulfill other people's opinions or expectations? Because unfortunately, and I mentioned this in the prior episode, as women were exposed to opinions, unsolicited opinions about our looks. Like for me, I've had like I've had like the one guy tell me like, oh, like you look good skinnier, like whatever. And then or like you should lose a little bit of weight. What an assholey thing to say. You know what I mean? Like what a dick. But guys say shit like that sometimes. And I just don't know why, but unfortunately they do. And if a guy's saying that to you, you need to tell him to go fuck himself, because that's none of your business. And then I've had the guy tell me like, oh, when you're skinny, like you don't look that good when you're skinny. Like you should get a little, gain a little bit more weight. And then sometimes when I've gained the weight, I end up not feeling good about myself because I'm like, I don't really like myself when I have like more weight on myself.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't look good,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And because again, it's like you said, it's thought. So like, in my opinion, I look good a certain way. And then another person's opinion is going to be like, no, you look better this way. And then another person's opinion. So it's like, if you live to fulfill everybody's opinions on you,
Mm-hmm.
you're just never going to be happy. with how you
Yeah,
look.
no. Yeah, because you're chasing someone else's like idea of you. Nah. I never had that experience. I never had like any like a guy try to like tell me like to lose weight or that he liked me a certain way. Um, I don't know what I would say if I did
It
experience that.
changes with time. The answer changes with experience. That's
Yeah.
what I can say, because
Because right now I'd be like, fuck you, you know?
when I was younger, because also, you know, when you're a teenager, you're so insecure.
Yeah.
And when a guy says that to you, you take it to heart.
Oh my God. Like, yeah.
You take it
I
to
feel like
heart.
at 15, my heart would have fucking fell to the floor.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, you
Yeah.
take it to fucking heart. And then you maybe see him dating another girl and you're like, didn't you say that you like them slimmer? But now you're with her, that she's a little bit thicker. Like, not to, no, I don't even mean it
Yeah.
in
No,
like a
I
bitchy
get
way,
you. I
but it's
get
like,
you.
I don't understand. Like, which
You
one is
wanted
it?
me to change for what? And one thing I also want to say, that's one thing. It's when I said it's like, who is it that wants these body types or this image? Like, is it us women projecting it on ourselves? Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think it's us. I feel
It's
like it's just
society.
okay, me, right? Sometimes I'll be like, I'll look at myself and like, I feel fat, like I'm not the same, like I have this, I have that, and then I'll like hang out with like my Dominican family, and you know, women are thick and they got thick thighs and a thick ass. Yo soy la flaquita, yo. I'm I'm like, hey yo, I'm so skinny, but it's so crazy. It's like how I can feel so different in just like
In
my
different
environment.
circles.
Yeah.
Like when I go to
So
Miami, I feel the same way, like la flaquita, whatever, you know. But when I'm here in Spain, I'm thick.
yeah.
Like for
Here?
like
No, I mean
stand,
here, Spain, you're like una
I'm
guitarra.
like hey, I'm thick over here, you know, because it's not that common to have like a body like that's filled, let's say like that,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that's also been changing here over the years. Like now people are more into that versus before I was more like, no, you have to be skinny. Like I battle with my cousin all the time because she just wants to be like super skinny, which she already is. And I'm like, girl, like lift a little bit of weights, like, or even if, and I tell her, like, even if you gain a little bit of weight, like, you know, but then maybe those comments are also not helpful because it's what we're going, maybe what I was saying before, that maybe we just shouldn't fucking say anything about a person's weight. Like, whatever, like if they feel comfortable
Yeah.
looking that way, it's none of your business to tell them otherwise.
Mhm.
And then also I want to mention one last thing,
Mhm.
like I feel like as I'm getting older too, like the temptation of falling into getting some type of work done.
Mm.
Like for the past year, I felt tempted to do stuff to my face. And
Mm.
it's crazy because, not to like be cocky or anything, but like I've always loved my face, like
Mhm.
literally my entire life. Like I've been happy with my face. So like now that I feel like I have thin lips, or like even my nose, which I'm like being so vulnerable. I'm gonna fuck, but like my nose, like I feel like I have like a little bump here, and like nobody notices the bump.
Notices.
Like
Yes.
everyone actually has really nice things to say about my nose for the most part, but I notice it. So I'm like,
Mhm.
Dad, maybe I should like not get a nose job, but you know, now you can get like fillers and this and that. But then I stop myself and I'm like, Sophia, like, you're not gonna look like yourself. Like, you've been so happy with your face all these years, and now you're gonna
Yeah.
change it. Like, you're not gonna look like
Yeah.
yourself anymore.
Isn't that a little scary too? Like to think that like, yo, I'm not gonna look the same anymore. Like like the way God created me is not gonna be it anymore.
And okay,
Mm.
I always think of this, even though this is like so fucked up for me to say, but
Mm.
like I genuinely think of this, like the people that get excessive plastic surgery, right? Like women that like don't even look like themselves at all. Not for nothing, but like when you have children, Eso es lo que se pasa a la genética, no el plastic surgery. Like, you like
Your baby's
that's
gonna look
why
like old you.
no, so what I'm saying is that's why also like vanity and superficiality, like don't just have a baby with someone because of how they look like, because you might be surprised.
Their nose maybe like this, and you're
I
like,
am
where
not
did I
kidding.
come from?
I genuinely think of these things. I'm like, espérate, because she had a big ass nose, and then now she got a nose job. And when she has a kid, like the genetics are gonna be the big nose genetics, not the small one. You know, so it's like your kid's not even gonna look like you at this point either, because you don't look like you.
I've thought about that too, actually.
You know, and then
Yeah,
like imagine
like,
your kid growing up with like a big nose, and they're like, oh my god, I hate my nose, and like you, the mom, are
don't
like,
have a big nose.
you don't have it because you got it done. Like, what do you
You're
tell
like,
your
I
kids?
sucks to be you. Oh my god.
Oh my god, yo. Oh my god, that's so funny. But anyways, so yeah, I think that's we're gonna just wrap it up.
Yes. On that note, sucks to be you. Oh my god.
Catch me
No,
never.
honestly, guys, on that note, this is a serious thing. People really die from having these disorders because they try to cope with, losing weight or gaining weight in unhealthy ways. So listen, put a time limit on Instagram. Be looking at fucking bitches' pictures and thinking that they look good. Focus on yourself and try to get something. No, but for real, like try to get something that will like you posted, my career will never leave me. Try to get something that's never gonna leave you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then and not only that, I want to say be very mindful of what you're consuming. Who are you following? What do you have on your explore page? I just have memes and nails on my explore page. It's taken me some time to get there because I used to have Instagram models.
You have to actually take the time to curate your feed to be the things that you want to be exposed to, because if not, you're just gonna keep receiving that message. So it is your responsibility as well.
It is, exactly. So with that being said, we'll catch you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed.
Love you all.
And peace out.